So today we're going to be showing you how to edit audio files in Audacity. You should have, before this, downloaded and installed Audacity on your personal device. You should use the link that I put on our class page, and you should use Audacity to record yourself making a list of some of your calmingest things. I have already done that, and now I have brought in the indubitable Nathaniel Stoltz, whom all of you met earlier this semester, to teach us how to do some sound editing, because he is better at this than I am. So we're going to do...
Because what else is there to do in quarantine, right?
Apparently, he doesn't have a lot to do. I don't know. So, I have my Audacity open, as you can see in the video recording. I am going to do a screen share with you of that. And I'm going to ask Mr. Stoltz questions, and he's going to tell me how to do things, and I'm going to try to do them so that we can learn how to do this stuff. I know how to do some of it, but I don't know how to do all of it, so I'm going to pretend I don't know how to do any of it at all, and he's going to pretend he knows how to do all of it, and we'll together pretend with you that we can successfully edit audio files. All right.
I like to think I can.
Okay,
I've only been using this program for 12 years, but...
So that's, many more years than me. All right, so, part one... What I'd like to start with is I have this audio file here, and you can see that I have two sounds, and in this part I have said the same thing twice, basically. I messed up on the first one, and I want to delete it. So how do I delete a thing that I don't want?
It's really simple. All you have to do is just highlight with your left mouse, basically. Just like if you click and drag from any point to any other point, and then you press the delete button, it will delete that.
So if I click like here...
Yep, and then you just drag it over.
Drag. Oh, it's highlighting it white. Is that what's supposed to happen?
Yep.
All right. Okay. I do that, and then let go, and then what? It turned into a finger.
You can just press delete now.
I can just press delete?
Yep.
Okay.
Now the thing that you're going to want to do, though, if you do that, if you're talking about a spoken word thing like this, there's a certain rhythm to the words here, right?
Right.
And so you have to be really conscious of exactly how much of a pause you're leaving in between the different kinds of things. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to sort of want to do a guess and check situation where you highlight what you think is obviously all the part that you want to get rid of, plus a little bit of the pauses on either side, and then you can play back through and go, well, is this the right amount of white space in there?
Okay, so the straight flat line is the pause.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me play this and see if it's right. No, that's like... No, that's way too long.
Okay, so just highlight what you think the right amount of the area in between is to...
And delete that some more.
Yeah. You can always undo it.
Still too long?
You can only delete when it's paused.
Okay. And I have to use this scrolly down here to get back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I can delete it?
Yep.
I think just a smidge more.
And if you wanted to add a smidge, the Control-C, Control-V, Control-X, cut, paste, copy thing works the same way. So you could just highlight a little bit of this and copy it in. You have to click again first, but yeah.
Okay, all
So
right.
if you're ever dealing with sort of speech pauses,
Yeah.
it just works the same way as.
Do these buttons do the same thing? Copy,
Yeah.
cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I never use the buttons for whatever reason, but if you're a button person, go with the buttons.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Now, what if you can see that? Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
So I know that the flat line is being more or less quiet.
Yeah.
And then I have these lines where it's up and down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's me being loud.
Yeah. Those are your audio waveforms of everything.
Okay.
So you'll see that they're all mapped to usually distinct sounds of speech here.
Right. How do I, if I have like some ambient noise and stuff, how do I take that out? And also, what is the kind of ideal amount of up and down overall that we want to have?
Well, it kind of depends actually in terms of the ideal amount, because you'll see that there's sort of two components to the sound waves. Mm-hmm. One is like this lighter blue area in the middle.
Okay.
And then there's the darker blue area on the outside.
Right.
And
I can see that there's like lighter in the... Yeah, okay.
And I'm not sure actually what those exactly represent, but I can tell you that like if you have one that is really... has a big light blue area in the middle.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of dark blue outside it. And then you have another one that has a little bit of light blue in the middle and then a lot of dark blue outside it. The one with the more light blue is going to be louder.
Like this one has a lot of dark blue.
Yeah. Well, it also has more light blue, but yeah, but that is going to be less of a volume difference between those phrases than you would think.
Than this one?
Well, that's all one sound. It's just trailing off, I would assume.
Right, but this one has a big...
Yeah.
Lot of light blue.
Right. So the light blue, though, is sort of your main driving force in amplification.
Huh. This one has a dark blue hat.
Yep.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay, great. So maybe one thing is volume and the other thing is pitch?
No, I don't think that's how that works. I think it's sort of it's kind of a volumetric density kind of thing. But anyway, I'm just... No, I don't want to.
This one also has a dark blue hat.
Right.
Huh. Okay, so should I try to make my sounds bigger, or are they okay?
This is usually a decent range. You want to... First off, you always want to avoid the sound going over the thing entirely, which is called clipping. And that's when you're going to get all of your, like, distortion on your sound. So you got to make sure... And this is something that... if you're ever doing like a recording that's on a really low quality device, like if you're just speaking straight into your computer, like right up against it, or if you're speaking like right next to a microphone.
Oh, like our first couple episodes of our podcast.
Yes. You'll end up with a lot of that clipping where you get that sort of distorted sound.
Okay.
So you want to try to avoid that at all costs. But other than that, you just want to make sure that that everything is distinguishable, that all the sounds are distinguishable from each other, and that everything is just clear.
Okay.
Beyond that, whether it's sort of a quarter of the waveform is filled, or 3/4, or whatever. I mean, that just means that the lower the size of the waveform, the more that people might have to turn their volume up to hear it. But it doesn't really affect sort of the fidelity of it in any way that is noticeable to 95% of people.
Okay. So I don't need to do anything to adjust I don't need to amplify it right now.
You shouldn't.
But if I did, how would I do that?
Okay. Well, what are you trying to if you were trying to amplify your entire track?
Yes.
Well, you could just, first off...
first let's amplify a section. Let's amplify this word, because it looks real short to me. Okay,
so... Well, but you could do one thing first, which is, if you just Control A, that's always the command for select all.
Yeah.
Right? You have to click on the track first. Just click somewhere and then Control A. And then if you go to Effect, in your top bar...
Yes.
Amplify.
Okay.
You'll see What it's going to spit out...
Decibels?
That's in decibels, yes.
Okay.
And that's going to spit out the maximum amount that you could amplify the entire track without clipping.
Okay.
And so, basically, that tells you that the loudest sound in your entire track is 3.35 decibels away from clipping.
Okay.
So, you can generally assume from that your average volume is a little bit lower than that, probably 6 or 7 decibels short. So now if you go to highlight that particular sound again.
Yes.
And then go back to Effect, Amplify.
Whoa.
And you're 12 short, so maybe about 5 decibels would be reasonable to get it up to what that kind of typical level is.
Okay, so we're trying to get this to be more similar to the rest of them.
Yeah, and you can see it even tells you your new peak amplitude for this is -7.
Okay, so if I do preview...
Relative to clipping. I've never tried that.
It plays the sound clip for me.
Okay, well there you go.
And then I say naps. A lot better. A lot more loudly.
Okay.
And not quietly like I'm about to go to sleep. So
yeah,
I'll say okay.
Do always check changes you make, because that's where you're going to get some of that like light blue versus dark blue thing. If you try to just get everything to be the exact same volume in terms of its waveform peak, that's actually going to end up with things being sort of wavery and all over the place. Plus, normal human speech doesn't stay at the same volume all of the time like this.
Right.
So
it shouldn't. It should have dynamism.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I amplified this part.
Yeah.
I could amplify the whole thing.
Yeah.
If I wanted to.
Yep.
I think that I don't want to have amplified this quite as much as I did. I think it should have been amplified, but not that much.
Okay.
The hat got too tall.
Okay.
So how do I undo it?
Just Control-Z, same undo command as you might do in Microsoft Word or whatever. Or you could, of course, if you wanted to take it down too from where you just had it, you could re-highlight it and take it down too. Oh,
and that doesn't like double distort it or anything?
No, there's no additional distortion that you're going to get there.
Huh. Oh no. Okay, so I did 5 before?
Yeah.
So we want to do maybe 3?
Sure.
So let's try playing it now. Yeah. That's better. Okay. All right. I probably should have made it so that students could hear the sound. Ha ha ha. All right. I will do that in the next part, students, I promise. Speaking of which, we should probably stop for this session. We'll be back in just a moment, students, with the next video and audio and do the next kind of editing. So, stay tuned. After these messages, we'll be right back.